You're listening to Drive 3 to 6 on Impact 103 on this 30th of July. My name is Kgosi Rankhumise, and I want to say thank you to you for choosing Impact as your station of choice on this wonderful afternoon. Because you choose this station, we get to do some incredible things, get to partner with some incredible organizations, including organizations like Rhythm of Hope. And they do really phenomenal work. You would know about this. You've been hearing about them on the station several times. You might have been part of the event that happened not too long ago, or maybe even part of the productions that they've been putting together over the years. And maybe you're just like, you know what, it's the first time I'm hearing from them. Well, lucky for you, I'm joined in studio this afternoon by the two ladies that are definitely doing some incredible work in our community, in the lives of young people, in communities that otherwise they would be telling different stories if not for the intervention of this particular ministry and the work that they're doing. So I'm joined in studio today by Talitha and Jacque, and they're going to tell us all about the great work that they're doing. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Kgosi. What a privilege.
It's good to be chatting to you. It's weird hearing you so reserved. Meanwhile, I know you actually have a lot of energy inside of you. But maybe it might be because of, you know, the work that you've just recently done and the travels to Eswatini. Before we talk about that, I would love for you to paint a picture, a summary picture for a person who's just joined the Impact family and they're hearing rhythm, hope. I don't understand. Hope is in my heart. Rhythm is two left legs and I don't have it. Tell us a little bit about the work that you do.
So Rhythm of Hope is a company and a non-profit that facilitates discipleship through dance, basically. We have a big focus on identity, and identity is basically just, especially for people who know the gospel, how do I apply those truths to my life so I start looking more like Jesus, so I start showing up more like Jesus. And so we, in our outreach and in our studio classes, we have a curriculum that runs parallel to the dance curriculums, which focuses on your relationship with yourself, your relationship with God, and then your relationship with others. And we look at specifically who God is and who we are because of who He is, and how that helps us show up differently. And we do that here in Pretoria, but we also feel called to make this more available, to make structured dance and to make discipleship through dance more available in Africa. Because I think in South Africa we have so many opportunities, but we actually realize that in our neighboring countries and in the continent of Africa, it's one of the most Googled careers, but there's no structured dance. There's very limited structured dance.
Sure.
And so that's part of our mission.
Man, I every time when you speak about the work you do, I'm always like, man, where was this when I was a kid? Just to be able to offer it. Yes, in terms of identity and maybe also learning a couple of dance moves and, you know, help me and find my rhythm. But I do appreciate the fact that you're kind of going, hey, we are seeing the call going beyond the borders and the scope of where we are, which is a lot more comfortable. So let's talk a little bit about the discomfort of stepping out of Judea to go to Samaria and the other ends of the earth with the trip that you just did recently to Eswatini. Why that, and what's kind of the heart and the big picture of this particular mission?
So the heart behind Eswatini specifically is we went to, I think I want Jacque actually to share, but we went to support a friend of mine who I met about 10, 13 years ago while doing a gap year, and she was from Eswatini, and she also is from an orphan background, but she had a dream about ballet and dance, and when she saw us dancing, she was like, that's what I saw in my dream and that's what I want to do with my life. Sure. And so for 10 years she had started a studio. It's very informal. She started teaching everything she learned, and she came and visited me very informally, and I shared a little bit, but she and so we went just to help her gain some momentum and to help her establish. We're also helping her qualify so that she has credibility in terms of dance teaching. But yes, Jacque, why did we go on this?
This is where you come in, Jacque. Where exactly were you guys? And tell us about a little bit about some of the work you did on the ground also.
Yeah, so this is our second time going to Eswatini. Yeah. Last time we just went to Nantsika. This time we went to Nantsika and Heart for Africa. Yeah. So we were with each of them for about 2 days. And I mean, to put on a workshop, we put on a workshop and a showcase, which was maybe a bit too ambitious in each place. So first we went to Nantsika and we did 6 of our identity curriculums, and you can fill in the ones I'm going to forget because I definitely will. But we did Brave and Flexible You can just start.
Okay, so we
It's very
did
flexible.
Brave, Flexible, Beautiful, and Blessed. And we did Belong, I Belong,
Sure.
and I'm Disciplined.
Wow. Those are big themes.
They are very big things. So in them, what we had is the teacher was responsible for teaching the dance that they would do in the showcase, but also explaining to them what does it mean to be strong, what does it mean to be disciplined, what does it mean to say I'm beautiful. I mean, those are huge topics and huge themes that I think, especially when it comes to young girls, it's things we need to have written in our hearts and not just in our minds.
Yeah.
So we were able to spend time with them really talking about those themes and what does it mean, and speaking to them their age. Like we're going and we're speaking to 6-year-olds, 9-year-olds, the way that they understand it and the way that they've experienced that. And then we did a showcase for their parents on the Sunday. And it was incredible. We used the movie Overcomer, where it's that girl has asthma. So we used that theme because it really pulls into she had to be strong, she had to be capable, she had to be brave, she had to be flexible. I mean, when her coach in the one part of the movie, her coach hands her earphones and it's like, you're going to run with these today, I'm not going to coach you.
Sure.
I mean, so we drew from that, and it was also a great way to show the girls, like, look here, here's a practical example. And then we went to Project Canaan and Heart for Africa, which is this huge piece of land that they own. And they have adopted 400 kids that they take care of in little families. So we went to their teenagers because we can do teenagers. That's one of with our Raising the Bar, we have really looked at and delved into taking those identity themes and what does that look like practically with a teenager when there's those deeper, harder questions.
And we gave them a charm bracelet that like ties everything together. So when we left, that they would have something. They did a dance about the theme. They learned about the theme, and they performed a showcase. And then they have that
to remind themselves,
and also to equip the people working with them in terms of spiritual formation, to equip them with tools and how to. But remember, we spoke about this. Here's a scenario where you need to now be flexible or more adaptable. Can you remember? You actually are. You can be adaptable. You're a little bit like a balloon. Can you remember? So that was part of the.
Even after you've left. I'm listening to the story, and I'm using my imagination, and it feels like, oh man, incredible time. You drive back, everybody's happy, all the parts are sorted. But also, I'm sure there must have been many challenges. Young people, travel, many days. And also because of, what you're reinforcing. I'm almost imagining that it's not going to be easy when you're trying to advance the kingdom in that way. It's like you kind of face some onslaughts. What are some of the challenges that you went through that you had to overcome in order for it to sound as beautiful and succinct as what you said now?
No, ministry is often to yourself.
Yeah.
Very, very definitely. I think as a company, the season that we're in, it was a very big risk to go. There's been many transitions, staff changes that really left us in a very vulnerable position. And if it wasn't for God having provided all the funds beforehand, it was like He wanted this to happen. So we knew, despite all of the stuff happening, okay, we had to go. Some of the challenges, or the biggest challenge that I think is appropriate for this interview, was everything, because we did a showcase. Last year we didn't do a showcase. Everything rided on the projector working, because the projector showed the parts in between that connected the whole story. It was a whole story. Like people know our ministry productions, we don't do something if it doesn't necessarily minister. And so we had borrowed a projector from someone who trusted us, and we were going to have a movie night just to show the kids this show or the movie, so that they could understand, okay, this was the story, that was our ministry evening. And then as I plugged it in and I was just doing the settings, everything was working, then the projector literally blew up. It sparks. It smelled. So we prayed over this thing. We were like, okay, God, you can resurrect. You've done miracles for us. We've seen provision. And He didn't. And one of our bursary students was like, you must remember, if God doesn't answer, it's a redirect. So what is He redirecting us to? One of our students said that. And we were like, okay, we have a ministry evening planned. This was the plan. That it was going to be an easy ministry evening. But then the whole team had to come together. We had to be vulnerable. We had to share stories. God put together a whole experiential evening where the Holy Spirit showed up so powerfully. The girls started sharing from their own lives about some of the struggles that they had. We were able to pray with them. We were able to give them scripture and word, and that wasn't the plan initially. So the projector, it didn't work, but it was the plan for that evening. It was God's plan for that evening. But then the next day, obviously the parents were coming to watch, and these kids were now going to show them this was the show, and now the projector isn't working.
Oh, jeepers.
And then in the middle of Africa on a Sunday, the host managed to organize a projector, which then didn't work as well. Like, it didn't talk to my laptop, and the cable didn't work well. And then he managed to arrange someone to come and help, and then the cable started working just when it had to.
Sure, okay. Praise God for that.
Like 5 minutes before, everyone was sitting. That was really a miracle.
Oh, man. And it be like that sometimes, where there's things that will just make it really difficult for you to get things done, and you feel like, what in the world's going on? And it's almost easier to give in and drop the towel then and kind of give up at that point in time. But before we wrap up our time together, I'd love for you to give us a little kind of like a preview of one of the themes. I know you mentioned the different themes, but particularly talking about the theme of bravery, because even as you mentioned there's a couple of them I'm like, okay, I need to hear that. But Jackie, maybe tell us a little bit on the impact and the theme of bravery in a way that doesn't really transport me to Eswatini, but also gets me an idea of, man, so much was really deposited into these children.
So I mean, when we were sitting and we were thinking, what theme can we see happened in all these kids' lives? And it was brave. And it was brave for us as well. I mean, you hear with the projector. It was brave for us to carry on. It was also brave. Imagine you're 9 years old and you can see this projector's not working. Now my mommy's going to come and you want me to get up and dance for her, and I've only been dancing for a year. It's incredibly brave to be like, I put my trust in the teacher that she knows what she's doing. And then when we were in Heart for Africa, it was the first time those kids had danced ballet and contemporary at all.
They'd never done it all before.
Sure.
Yeah, and then they didn't have any special dance attire, so they were dancing in their normal day-to-day clothes in front of their friends, the boys. Like, they were incredibly brave.
And I had to drive a 4x4 that's bigger than, I almost have to use a ladder to get up. And then it was like proper 4x4. I had PTSD from last year, and this year we were staying there and I had to drive that road every single day.
And you were brave.
I was like, Lord, I have my big girl pants on. I'm going to be brave.
And I think one of the things that I love especially, and why I asked that, is so many of us still need to encounter these themes and really kind of soldier up. And I'm glad that you mentioned your story with the van, right? Because so many times, even in parenting, it's like you show your child, and true to it, you're going to be challenged with that same thing. And my hope is that people that are listening are being challenged to be brave as well. Before we wrap up our time together, chatting to the ladies of Rhythm of Hope, for someone who's listening and thinking, man, this sounds incredible, or I used to be a dancer in the day, or I love young people, I just want to be involved in the really great work that you guys are doing. How can they get more information? How can they be involved? Where can they reach you, Talitha?
So we've recently created, we have a new website. It's called,
congratulations.
They can find us at rohdanceclasses.org. And on there they can find all the info about our classes, our mission trips, blogs, our outreach, and there's many different ways to get involved. So rohdanceclasses.org.
As simple as that. Well, ladies, thank you. Not just for joining us, but for the work that you do. You and the many people, I'm sure it's not just the two of you, all the organizations that you take hands with, and ultimately just breathing life and hope really into the lives of all these young girls that you're rightfully saying had never done contemporary dance before. But I think that moment meant so much more, that there is a whole other world that exists in the world of dance, but also in the hope that they can hope onto, the faith that is renewed, and really where God can take them. So thank you for the work that you're doing. Really incredible.
Thank you for helping us share.
If you ever need a dancer, like a male dancer, just call me. I know someone. I know someone, not me. Don't get excited.
Really?
Yeah, no.
We really do.
No, but we legitimately.
We're gonna go to the music lest I get myself tied up to something.